Hello, everybody. All right, so this is the last time I'll talk with you about third grade skills. We are in the chapter 12 review, page 543. So let's get started. Which words describe this shape? Mark all that apply. Okay, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. Okay, it's closed, so it's a polygon because it's made up of just line segments. It can't be an open shape if it's a polygon, so not an open shape. Pentagon, yes, there's 5 sides, so it's not a quadrilateral. So pentagon and polygon. Number 2, Umberto drew one side of a quadrilateral with 4 equal sides and no right angles. Draw the other 3 sides to complete Umberto's shape. Okay, so I kind of pre-drew some points in. I know that this has to be a rhombus. Okay, and they're 3 squares long. Okay, so that's basically the shape he drew. Okay, number 3, Mikhail saw a painting that included this shape. For numbers 3a through 3d, select true or false for each statement about the shape. 3a, the shape has no right angles. Well, that's not true. It's telling me that there's 2 right angles, so false. 3b, the shape has 2 angles greater than a right angle. Well, we already know that those 2 are right angles. So there's only 2 angles left. Is that angle here greater than a right angle? No, that's less than a right angle. I can't see the other side of the angle. So no. The shape has 2 right angles. Yeah, that's true. The 2 blue boxes tell me that it has 2 right angles. The shape has 1 angle greater than a right angle. Okay, well, we only got one more to check. Those are 90s, right angles, 2 right angles. Less than a right angle. Is this greater than a right angle? So I line it up with the corner of a piece of paper, the points at the vertex of my angle, and the other side of the angle is off of my paper. So it is greater than, so that is true. So the shape has no right angles, false. The shape has 2 angles greater than a right angle, false. The shape has 2 right angles, true. And the shape has 1 angle greater than a right angle, yes. This angle here is greater than a right angle. Okay, page 544, number 4. Fran used a Venn diagram to sort shapes. Draw another shape that belongs inside the left circle of the diagram, but not in the section where the circles overlap. All right, so let's see. We need a shape that comes over here, but not here. So we have to draw a polygon with right angles, but it can't have 4 sides. Okay, so anything with right angle with it not having 4 sides. So 3 sides, 5 sides, 6 sides, 7 sides, 8 sides. So I'm going to start by drawing the right angle. Okay, so there's the right angle part. Now I can have as many other lines as I need. Okay, as long as none of them curve and is more than 4. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6. I have 6 sides, and I know at least one of my corners is a right angle. How can you describe the shapes in the section where the circles overlap? Well, they're four-sided figures with right angles. Four-sided polygons with right angles. I could say quadrilaterals with right angles. That would also work. Number 5, match each object in the left column with its name in the right column. Okay, what is this with 2 arrows going on forever in opposite directions? That's a line, right? Okay, this has 2 endpoints. It's part of a line. It's a line segment. Again, a large part of this has been just definitions, right? Okay, the next one is also part of a line. It has 1 endpoint and continues on in one direction. That's called a ray. And the last one is this dot right here, and that's a point. Okay. Number 6, describe the angles and sides of this triangle. Well, these 2 sides appear to be equal. So I'm going to say 2 sides with equal length. Now, what about the angles? Well, let's check them. Okay, I have it at the top here. I can't see this other one. So this top angle is less than a right angle. This one line it up there, and I can't see the other angle, so this angle is less than a right angle. And the last one. And again, I've lined it up with the edge of the paper, the corners at the vertex. I can't see the other angle, so it's less than. Well, I guess I could say 3 angles less than a right angle. This should also say it doesn't have any right angles, or doesn't have any angles greater than a right angle. Okay, so 2 sides with equal length, the left and the right side, and then 3 angles less than the right angle. Number 7. Which words describe this shape? Is it a rectangle? Well, what's a rectangle? 2 pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. Check. 4 right angles. Check. 2 pairs of sides that are equal length. 1 pair, equal length. 1 pair, equal length. True. So that shape is a rectangle. Is it a rhombus? A rhombus has 2 pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. Check. Rhombus has to have 4 equal sides. Check. That's a square. So it's also a rhombus. A quadrilateral. That just means it has 4 sides. Yeah, that shape has 4 sides. Quadrilateral. Is it a square? Well, squares have to have 2 pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. Yes. It has to have 4 right angles. Yes. It has to have 4 sides of equal length. Yes. Okay. So that square is all of them. Number 8. Divide each shape into the number of equal parts shown. Then write the fraction that describes each part of the whole. Well, thirds. Okay, that looks about right. You want to get as close to equal parts as you can. So 3 equal parts. Write the fraction that describes each part of the whole. Well, this is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So 1/3. 6 equal parts. Okay, we've done this a couple times. All right, each part is 1/6 of the whole. And the final one, 8 equal parts. Try to find the halfway mark. And then take that and break it into 4 more sections. Eight equal parts. I probably could have gotten a little closer to exactly equal. My last lines makes this look longer than it should be. Okay, but the idea is there, and each part is 1/8. All right, number 9. This blue box, there's nothing that you really need to put in there. I believe that's just a note for teachers. All right, number 9. Han drew a triangle with one angle greater than a right angle. For 9A through 9D, choose yes or no to tell whether the triangle could be the triangle Han drew. Okay, so here we look at the corners of this triangle, and all of them are less than a right angle. So that's not the triangle he drew because it doesn't have an angle greater than a right angle. B, these two angles, there and there, are less than a right angle. If you're not certain, compare it to a corner piece of paper. So no, that wouldn't be the one he drew. Okay, this one, these two are less than, but this one is greater than. I just want to double check my work. I want to match that up. Okay, I see this part of the angle, and this part is off, and this part is off of the paper, right? So this part lines up, and the other part of the angle is off the corner. So it's not a right angle. It's greater than a right angle. He could have drawn that one. And then I look at 9D, and it's got kind of that same angle shape, right, as this one. So 9D is yes, too. He could have drawn that one. All right, 10. Look at this group of pattern blocks. All right. Sort the pattern blocks by sides. How many groups did you make? Explain how you sorted the shapes. So by sides, all right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 3 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. I'm not certain there's a one exact answer. It could be how you group these. Well, I guess you could say um, shapes with 4 sides, shapes without 4 sides. I guess we could sort it into 3 groups. 3 groups because we have one that's 3 sides, 4 that are 4 sides, and 1 that is 6 sides. Okay, so 3 groups. Basically, you just have to be able to explain how you got your groups. 3 groups. Triangle has 3 sides. Another group has 4 sides. And the third group has 6 sides. B. Sort the pattern blocks by angles. How many groups did you make? Well, let's see. That has 4 right angles. This has 3 angles less than a right angle. This angle here is greater than a right angle. This is greater than a right angle. That's greater than a right angle. That's greater than a right angle. Okay, so we have greater than right angle. Okay, I'm going to say 2 groups. Shapes with all angles less than or equal to right angles. And the second group has at least one angle greater than a right angle. Okay. All right, so the triangle and the square would go in one group, and then the other 4 shapes all have at least one angle greater than a right angle. All right, number 11. Teresa drew a quadrilateral that had 4 sides of equal length and no right angles. Well, there's only 2 shapes in quadrilaterals that have 4 equal sides: rhombuses and squares. Squares have to have right angles. So the only choice left is rhombus. Number 12. Ray used a Venn diagram to sort shapes. What label could you use for circle A? All right, so we know that the square has all sides of equal length, but that's referring to the right-hand side. So what about this shape is similar to these three shapes? Well, there's a right angle here, there's right angles in the rectangle, and there's right angles in the pentagon, and there's right angles in the square. So has at least one right angle, polygons with at least one right angle. Number 13, Colette drew lines to divide a rectangle into equal parts that each represent 1/6 of the whole area. Her first line is shown. Okay, so she's got two parts right now. We need to turn that 2 into a 6. So we can just draw 3 vertical lines. Draw the line. Oh, so just draw the lines to complete Colette's model. All right, so there's nothing really put in that blue box right there. All right, 14. Brad drew a quadrilateral. Select the pairs of sides that appear to be parallel. Parallel. 2 lines that are equal distance apart and do not ever meet. Okay, A and B. A and B meet right there. So it's not A and B. B and D. B and D, yes. B and D are parallel. C and A. C and A, yes. D and C. D and C, nope, they meet right there. So our answer is B and C. 548. Number 15. Give 2 reasons that this shape is not a polygon. Well, the most important rule on polygons is it has to be a closed shape. It is not a closed shape. And the second important thing is that it cannot have curved paths. This is just one big curved path. So there's 2 reasons it's not a polygon. It has curved paths. It's not a closed shape. 16. A triangle has one angle greater than a right angle. What must be true about the other angles? Mark all that apply. At least one must be less than the right angle. Well, let's look at a previous question that might help us. These triangles down here have one angle greater than a right angle. What do you notice about the other 2 angles? They're both less than a right angle. So at least one must be less. That's true. That's true. One could be a right angle. No, that's not possible. Both must be less than. Yeah, kind of a weird way of saying this question, but when you say at least one, it is true. It has to have. It'll have 2 angles less than a right angle. 2 angles less than a right angle would be at least one. So it does make sense. D, one must be greater than a right angle. No, that you wouldn't be able to close it then if they're both greater than a right angle. All right, 17. Ava drew a quadrilateral with two pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. The shape has at least two right angles. Draw a shape that Ava could have drawn. All right, so what are the shapes that have two pairs of opposite sides that are parallel? Rectangles do, squares do, and rhombuses do. Okay, so those three have two pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. Has at least two right angles. Well, a square or a rectangle, right? Okay. Square or a rectangle. And number 18. For 18A through 18D, select true or false for each description of a ray. Okay, is this ray straight? Yes. Does it have two endpoints? No, it's got one. Is it part of a line? Yes. Does it continue in one direction? Yes. Okay, so that is it for Chapter 12 review. Make sure you practice the vocabulary terms in this chapter. Very, very important. You have to be very confident and certain about all the different characteristics of like the quadrilaterals. Okay, know all the different parts like line segments, points, rays, angles. What are the different types of angles? How can I figure those out? How can I compare them to the corner piece of a corner sheet of paper? Okay, so other than that, I'm certain you'll do well on your final test. Um, I've enjoyed going over the lessons for the third grade Go Math series. Hopefully you'll check in the fourth grade and maybe I can help you with some of those lessons. So until then, may the numbers always be in your favor.